Hi guys, good to see you. Before I go on with this video, I will like to tell you that even though I am in my Minecraft character, this video is not for Minecraft channels alone. I will be teaching you about things for all YouTube channels. So what we're talking about is what to do before you start your YouTube channel, and I do find these very important. So we're going to go on with the first tip, which of course is research your niche or market. Before you start your YouTube channel, you might want to know what you're getting yourself into. And you might want to go look out at the different things out there, the different channels, and what your kind of content might be. Now, you might be thinking you might want to do a Minecraft channel. Sure, good, okay, we can go ahead and start. But then you might want to see what kind of channels of Minecraft there are out there. There might be gameplays, there could be machinimas, or like building channels, tutorial channels. Find out what channel you like and find out what they're doing. Look at the successful channels and look at what they're doing. But also, you're going to want to look into the market and find out what the competition is. So we know that Minecraft, of course, is very competitive. And there are also many, many Minecraft channels out there, because Minecraft is like one of the biggest subjects out there, and it's the most popular video game in history. So one nice thing about Minecraft, even though it is so very large and expansive, meaning that there's a lot of competition, it also means that there's a lot of search volume. So even though there's lots of people you have to compete with, you can still get views and you can still compete in place. But you really do need to go research your niche or market, video gaming or music, or how to fix cars, things like that. Find out what's happening in the market and understand what you're up against, just so you know what you'll be dealing with while you're working with your channel. Another thing you're going to need to do is to prepare for work without return. This is a very important concept, and it was true for me too. When I first started on YouTube, I had to make videos, and I got nothing out of it. I didn't get any money or anything. And that's something you got to be prepared for and ready for when you start your YouTube channel, is know that you're not going to make it big right away, or at least it's not very likely. Only very few get lucky like that. I think it's like less 1%. It's like 1 out of more than 1 million people get lucky and just start growing really fast. Pretty low numbers. The majority of people won't grow very fast. In fact, I think the vast majority of people tend to not get above 100 subscribers. So if you even get above 100 subscribers, even though that seems pretty low, understand that you're actually doing quite well. And that is probably the hardest thing to do on YouTube, is get to your first 100 subscribers. Getting to 1,000 and 10,000 come easier. But anyways, be ready for that. Be ready to not do, or not, gain a whole lot of success up front, and don't expect to, get a whole lot of money up front. You need to be willing to put in a lot of work for nothing. But it's kind of an inverse relationship if you keep going with it and you do get your growth. And it has happened to me as well, and I'm still, I'm still kind of in the growth curve. It's still happening. There's a lot of work to do. But usually it's the way it is it's a lot of work up front for no return. And then later down the road, it's little work up front for a lot of return. And it doesn't mean like there's not little, a whole lot of work. Doing YouTube is a lot of work the whole way through. But the whole idea is it does become an inverse relationship where the money you get from it, what you earn from it, grows. And when you think about some of the big YouTubers, and you've seen some of them that don't have very interesting videos, but they have very big followers. They might spend, some spend like 20 minutes to make a video and then earn thousands of dollars in return. And the whole idea is, once you get to that point, you're earning a lot and you don't have to work near as hard for all that return. And that is the way lots of times it is in business. And you have to understand that when you're starting a business. And lots of people who started their own business will probably tell you that it's a lot of work up front and they're just working. And the money that rolls in doesn't usually come until later. So be aware of that. The next thing I would like to say is go low budget. When you're first starting on YouTube, don't break your bank getting ready. Just get the needs you need. Lots of people will just use their phone for the camera. And phones these days have amazing technology. And really, that's all you need. Might invest in a mic, look for something simple. If you want to spend 20 bucks up front, if you want to go, 100 bucks for like a Blue Yeti later on, you can do that. That's what I did. I have a Blue Yeti, and I didn't use it right away. I got it maybe like a year later. And, it's been working fine. But yeah, use the computer you have. If you want to upgrade your computer a little bit just so you can use it for your video needs, you can get a better computer later. But you need to get started with just cheap stuff, because If you haven't done YouTube before, then you haven't experienced it, you haven't learned, you haven't gained the experience you need to know how it works. You need to just get started and learn how it works. And later down the road, if you look back in your videos and you say, okay, those are good practice, I don't need any more, you can delete them if you want. You might want to keep them, especially if you want to use them to show people what you started at. You can use them for teaching resources, that's okay. But you need to understand that. And that kind of goes into our fourth point, which is be ready to prototype and make mistakes. You will make mistakes. I know, I made tons of mistakes when I started. But I wouldn't have known how to overcome them if I hadn't experienced them, if I hadn't done them. And that's what prototyping is all about. It's all about learning through experience and letting real life take care of the problems for you, or I guess not take care of problems, pinpoint the problems. You want real life experiences to pinpoint the problems so you can fix them. Otherwise, it's just guesswork, what kind of stuff might come up, what mistakes you might make. So just get to it, make some videos, and that might mean, instead of worrying and stressing over one video, maybe make a string of 10 videos, and each one you get better and better. And if you want to, you can go back and delete the old ones, but you gain that experience. Now, if you go onto my channel and you look at some of my old videos, you will see that they are kind of junky. Now, at the time, it wasn't so junky to me because I was just learning. I didn't give up and I didn't quit. I just kept making video after video after video and got better and better and better. And yes, some of my first videos I did delete. That's okay. That was part of the learning process. But, look at my videos now. They're completely different. And, I wouldn't have gained that skill if I didn't prototype and prepare for mistakes. Just be ready for it and don't get yourself down. One of the worst things I've seen YouTubers do is they get down and then they quit and delete their channel. Don't do that. In fact, the worst thing is to delete your channel. If you're going to take a break, but don't delete it. Keep it up. A month down the road, you may suddenly figure out in your mind what you needed to do different and go back to it, in which case you'll be really grateful that you kept it. The fifth thing is you need to set up other social media accounts that you can integrate with YouTube. Twitter, Facebook, things like that. Get prepared to have a following, because if you do well, people are going to want to communicate with you. Now, sometimes YouTube isn't the only place where you can do that. Sometimes you'll want to have Twitter, where people can communicate with you there. Because typically, the subscribers you have on YouTube, you tend to have a less of a following that comes from YouTube to social media platforms. Expect like maybe 10%, maybe even lower. But of, suppose you have 1,000 subscribers and 100 of those people are with you on your Twitter, you communicate with them and these people now become solid subscribers. And that's a good thing. So be sure to have your social media accounts. Of course, I kind of already talked about this, but I'm bringing it up again. Stay positive, ignore negativity. You need to be ready for some people who are not going to be nice to you. In my experience, the majority of people on YouTube are good and nice people. There will be some people who will come by who may seem negative but have good pointers. Don't get mad at people who are giving you constructive criticism and are going to help you. In fact, it's never an appropriate response to reply with anger. It's better to reply with kindness and with, just an open mind, really. And learn from people. Don't get mad and just learn from it. And when someone says something, instead of saying, stop it, go away, I hate you, say, thank you. I think you'd be surprised how far thank you will go on YouTube. Now, of course, there's the last, category of people and comments when it comes to negativity, and that's the people who aren't being constructive, who aren't really helping you, who really are negative, and are just kind of destructive and really aren't helping. Now, that typically is kind of against YouTube's term of service, those kind of people, or especially people who are bullying. If you need to report them, so be it. Well, let's try to help and do our part in keeping YouTube a safe platform. But otherwise, just ignore them and don't let them bother you. If it's a bad enough comment, YouTube does have tools to monitor your comments, and you can even delete it yourself, which you kind of do need to do, because when you delete a really negative comment, it's not about just protecting you, it's about protecting your subscribers and your followers. And if there are, people who are really doing bad things and really saying bad things to you and, things that are inappropriate on the YouTube platform, at that point you need to hide that user from your channel, because they're just there to cause problems and to be destructive. And, they might be bullying or, having racist comments or things like that. You don't want to deal with that. Just, hide it and move on, and don't let it bother you. Don't let it get you down. Just keep going, and eventually, you'll kind of forget that. Sometimes you get that kind of feeling inside when someone's been mean to you. Time is typically the thing that helps heal these wounds. So move on, and it'll pass by your mind, and you'll be excited, and you'll keep going forward. That's important. So the last thing I kind of want to discuss, which is important before you start a YouTube channel, and this actually might be the most important, is to learn YouTube's terms of service. They have that listed on a YouTube website. Go ahead and go looking for this terms of service. You can just Google, Google YouTube's terms of service. And instead of just skimming through it, like a lot of people do, I would actually take the time to read the entire thing. Now, some of it may seem a little bit vague or hard to understand. YouTube over the years has done a great job at making these things more clear, so it's easy for us to understand. But don't be afraid to go talk to people and ask them what this means. There are other channels that kind of help clarify these things. And you can go look for channels that help clarify YouTube's terms of service. But it is very important because they will list things that are not allowed and not appropriate, which a lot of people don't know. One, for example, is the sub for sub. I see it all the time. People saying, I'll sub to you if you sub to me, all over, all the time. And they don't know that it's against YouTube's terms of service, and if they're caught, their channel could get terminated. Now, you don't want that to happen, right? You don't want to put all this work in your channel and then get terminated because you didn't understand that that was against YouTube's terms of service. Well, if you would have looked it up and read it, you would have known before you started, so you would never make that mistake in the first place. So yeah, definitely go read those terms of service. Anyways, that's all I had listed for now. These are just 7 points, things that you ought to do and ought to know before you start a YouTube channel to help you get to the point where you have success. And hopefully that helps you magnify your channel growth. If you have any questions or comments about these, the comment section below is a great place to discuss this and talk. I hope you found these helpful, and I'll see you next time.